Well, hello there. This is Tom, K2BEW. We've got the Heathkit Oscilloscope up on the bench, and we're going to start recapping it. Reason being, I want to use this to diagnose and work on my Kenwood transceiver, which is at the moment not transmitting, and an oscilloscope would be helpful. What I'm going to do is recap it. The ones that are paper, I'm going to restuff. The electrolytic, I'm going to cut open and restuff. These pink plastic ones are replacements, and they'll be just replaced. We can't restuff those. This is a Sprague 0.05, and that's also some kind of a metal plastic coated can, which I believe is a replacement, because this one next to it in the corner is also a 0.05. So they're both same value, so I'm assuming somebody replaced that, or they'd both be the same kind of paper. And then there's some over here, and there's some on the bottom, and etc., etc. What I've done so far is simply clean it, and it was filthy. Overall, it's in really decent shape, and it looks like the builder, the original builder, did a nice job. They have all the wires very nicely dressed, the way the manual says to, with the wrapping and everything. There was a little rust in that corner, which I have cleaned out with the good old navel jelly, and then I coated with Corrosion X so they won't rust again, hopefully. Very little rust. There was only a little bit in the corner there, a little bit in the corner underneath. I'm going to swing around the front here, get my light down. We cleaned up the front, took all the knobs off. Unfortunately, I believe that was varnish on the front. Nothing I put on it would take it off. I used alcohol, I used acetone, I used Goo Gone, and I finally took a screwdriver and very, very gently scraped the bottom of one section of it, and it came off, but it took the paint with it. So my final analysis was, I think that's some kind of a varnish that dripped onto this, and the only thing that'll take it off is a stripper, which will take the paint off, of course. So that's aluminum underneath. We're just going to leave it just the way it is. The rest of it's clean. I have the knobs off. I soaked them, I cleaned them, they're put away in a bag. And then finally, the bottom I cleaned. And also there was rust up in there. That's all been cleaned with navel jelly and coated with Corrosion X, and this cool old oil-filled capacitor, which I believe is probably an old Army surplus. That's how these were built. The original Heathkit kits were made by the man that owned the company, and I can't think of his name. It wasn't Mr. Heathkit. That guy died. Another guy bought it. He got a bunch of surplus Army parts, didn't know what to do with them, decided to make an oscilloscope kit. And the very first Heathkit kit was an oscilloscope. There was only 100 of them made, and it was called the Heathkit 5, and it was called a 5 because it's a 5-inch CRT. The one in this one is also a 5-inch CRT, but I took it out, put it away for safekeeping. One of those original 100 is in the Antique Wireless Museum in Bloomfield, New York, and I have visited there and seen it. And it's in working condition. It was restored by someone, and they won some kind of an award for it. They have competitions for radio restoration, and how good a restoration you do depends on your award, so it has to look untouched, basically. Nobody can tell that it was restored. That's the whole idea. Which is why I like to restuff caps, and I will restuff any of these that are paper that can be restuffed. If they can't be, obviously, like those plastic ones, I won't restuff them. So, this is probably Army surplus. The CRT is Army surplus, and that's how the company got started. This is an 08, model 08. There was a bunch of models. There was an 07, an 08, an 09, an 010 going up, and I don't know how many they had. This dates to about 1952 from what I looked at on the internet, about 1952. So it's only a basic oscilloscope. I don't expect anything fancy. If I can get a waveform and trace signals through circuits with it, I'll be happy to play with it doing that. I know I'm not going to get any accurate measurements like you would on a modern Tektronix or something, but it's fun to play with. And the price was right. This is one I got for 20 bucks from the guy that had the Hammarlund HQ-129X. He had this sitting in his shed, and he goes, "You want it?" And I said, "Yeah, what do you want for it?" He said, "Oh, I don't know." I said, "How about 20 bucks?" He goes, "Oh, all right." So 20 bucks, you can't, and it's well built. I have a Heathkit VTVM that I'm also restoring, and the inside of that's a mess. It was not built very well, and I will show that in a separate project. So that's where we're at. I'll come back when I've got some capacitors changed out, and we'll have a look. Thanks for watching. This is Tom.